Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today we're going to talk about a coin that looks completely ordinary at first glance. A coin that millions of people have held, spent, and forgotten about. But one version of this coin is reportedly worth an unbelievable $1.5 million. We're talking about the 1981 P. Washington quarter. That's right, a quarter from 1981, minted in Philadelphia, that some say could be worth a small fortune. If that sounds impossible, keep watching, because we're going to dive into the full history of this coin, why it's usually considered common, what makes one example so valuable, and what you need to look for to see if you're sitting on hidden treasure. Let's get right into it. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American pocket change since 1932. It was originally released to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, and it was so well received that it replaced the standing Liberty quarter permanently. Since then, it's been produced every year, and the design remained largely unchanged for decades. Now let's zoom in on the year 1981. At that time, the Washington quarter was still being minted with the classic eagle-on-the-back design, and the coins were struck in the copper-nickel-clad composition that had replaced silver back in 1965. The 1981 P. Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and the total mintage that year was more than 600 million coins. That means the 1981 P. quarter is not rare in terms of how many were made. It's a common date. You can still find them in circulation, and most examples are only worth face value. If you go to a coin shop or look online, you'll see these coins selling for maybe $1 or $2 in uncirculated condition. So how does a coin like that end up with a seven-figure price tag? This is where things get interesting. Among the hundreds of millions of 1981 P quarters, there is believed to be one extremely rare mint error that has made headlines in the collecting world. According to reports and auction rumors, one specimen of the 1981 P quarter was struck on a planchet intended for a different coin, possibly a silver or experimental blank. This unusual mistake resulted in a one-of-a-kind piece with a different metal composition and appearance, and it was authenticated as a legitimate mint error. This rare error coin was said to have been discovered by a collector who noticed something strange about its weight and color. Unlike typical quarters of the era, which have a copper core visible from the side, this quarter had a solid silver appearance. When weighed, it came in heavier than normal, and it had the unique high-pitched ring of a silver coin. When dropped on a hard surface, it was eventually submitted to a major grading service, confirmed to be a genuine mint error, and reportedly sold in a private auction for as much as $1.5 million. Now, to be clear, this is not something you can find every day. Most 1981 P quarters are extremely common, but the story shows just how wild and valuable the world of coin collecting can be. A single mistake at the mint, one wrong blank in the machine, and you have a coin that can change someone's life forever. So what should you look for if you want to check your own 1981 P quarters? First, flip the coin over and check the mint mark. You want to see a small letter P on the obverse of the coin, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. That P stands for the Philadelphia Mint. Next, examine the edge of the coin. Most quarters from 1981 will have a copper-colored edge, which comes from the copper core sandwiched between the layers of nickel. If you see that copper strip, it's a standard clad coin. But if your 1981 P quarter has a silver-looking edge, one that's solid in color with no copper showing, that could be a clue that it was struck on the wrong planchet. The next step is to weigh the coin. A normal 1981 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter, or one struck on a foreign or experimental blank, may weigh more or less depending on the metal. You'll need a jewelry or gram scale to get an accurate measurement. Also, listen to the sound. This is a classic old-school trick that many collectors use. Drop the coin gently on a hard surface like glass or ceramic and listen carefully. Silver coins produce a bright, clear ringing sound, while modern clad coins sound dull and flat. If your coin passes all those tests, unusual color, unusual weight, and a silver sound, it's time to get it authenticated. Do not try to clean the coin or polish it. That can ruin the surface and reduce its value. Instead, contact a reputable coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations can confirm if you truly have a rare mint error and give it an official grade and certification. Now here's another important note. Even if you don't have the $1.5 million coin, there are other valuable versions of the 1981 P quarter. High-grade uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS-67 or higher, can be worth significant money. Some of these have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction. Collectors pay a premium for coins in pristine condition with no wear, full details, and strong luster. There are also other types of mint errors to watch out for. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die breaks can all add value to an otherwise ordinary coin. If you enjoy treasure hunting through pocket change or old coin rolls, the Washington Quarter series offers plenty of opportunities to find something valuable. The bottom line is this. The 1981 P. Washington Quarter is one of the most common coins out there, but one extraordinary error transformed it into one of the most talked about coins in modern collecting history. Whether the $1.5 million sale is legend or fact, it represents the incredible possibilities that exist in the world of rare coins. And the best part is, you don't need a huge investment to start. You can begin with the coins already in your house, in your pockets, or in that old jar in your kitchen. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and a love for history. The next time you get change from the store, take a second and look at your quarters. You never know. You might be holding $1 million coin, and you wouldn't even realize it. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into rare coins, currency errors, and the hidden treasures in everyday change. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. You never know, someone you know could have one of these rare quarters sitting in a drawer right now. Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and as always, check your change. You just might strike gold. If you'd like a version of this optimized for voiceover pacing or with closed captions or subtitles, I can help with that too. Just let me know. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today we're diving into the fascinating story of a coin that almost everyone in the United States has seen at some point, yet very few people truly understand its value. This is the story of the 1966 Washington Quarter. Now at face value, this coin is worth 25 cents. It's one of the most common coins you'll find in circulation, in coin jars, old drawers, and even in the change from your morning coffee. But what if I told you that one version of this exact coin reportedly sold for an unbelievable $1.7 million? That's right, $1.7 million for a single quarter. If that sounds impossible, then you're going to want to stick around, because in this video, we're going to break down the history of the 1966 quarter, what makes some of them incredibly valuable, and how one very special version made headlines for its massive price tag. And who knows, you might even have one sitting in your pocket right now. Let's start with some background. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design features a portrait of Washington on the front and the classic eagle on the reverse. This design stayed largely the same for decades, and by the time we reached 1966, it was still going strong. But the year 1966 was actually a turning point in American coinage. Just a year earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped using 90% silver in quarters. Rising silver prices had made it too expensive to continue producing circulating coins from silver. So starting in 1965, quarters were made from a copper-nickel clad composition. This new material was cheaper to produce and was designed to still look similar to the older silver coins, but without the actual silver content. That makes 1966 the second year of the new copper-nickel clad quarter. It was a transitional time, and whenever there's a transition at the mint, there's always the possibility for mistakes, oddities, and rare coins to be produced, which is exactly what happened. Let's talk about the 1966 Washington Quarter in more detail. The Mint produced over 800 million quarters in 1966. That's a huge number. These coins were made at multiple facilities. But here's an interesting fact. Quarters from 1965 through 1967 do not carry any mint marks. The U.S. Mint decided to remove mint marks temporarily during this period to discourage collectors from hoarding coins based on where they were made. So whether your 1966 quarter came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it won't show a mint mark. Most of these coins are still only worth face value or slightly more. Even in uncirculated condition, a typical 1966 quarter might be worth a few dollars at best. But every now and then, something extraordinary shows up, and that brings us to the legendary 1966 quarter that reportedly sold for $1.7 million. This coin is no ordinary quarter. It was struck on a 90% silver planchet, a leftover blank that should have been phased out by 1965. Somehow, it ended up in the coin press and was struck with the 1966 design. The result was a coin that looks like a normal clad quarter, but tests as a silver coin, something that was no longer supposed to exist in regular circulation. This error is known in the coin collecting world as a transitional error. It occurs when a coin is struck using the wrong metal or wrong planchet from a previous year. These errors are extremely rare and often highly sought after by collectors. In the case of the 1966 silver quarter, only one known example has ever surfaced with full documentation and verification. It was submitted to a top grading service, authenticated, and graded as a mint error of the highest rarity. The coin was then sold at a private auction where it brought in an eye-popping $1.7 million. Now you're probably wondering, how can I tell if I have something similar? Here's what to look for. First, check the edge of the coin. A typical 1966 quarter will have a copper-colored line running through the edge. That's the copper core of the clad coin. If you don't see any copper and the edge looks solid silver, that could be your first clue. Next, you'll want to weigh the coin. A normal clad quarter from 1966 weighs 5.67 grams. A silver quarter weighs closer to 6.25 grams. You'll need a digital gram scale for this, and make sure it's accurate to the hundredth of a gram. That weight difference is small but significant. Also, listen to the coin. This is something veteran collectors do. Silver coins have a distinct high-pitched ring when dropped on a hard surface, while clad coins produce a dull, flat sound. It's not a guarantee, but it's another way to spot something unusual that if your coin passes these tests, you might have something special. But don't clean it. Don't try to polish it. Just keep it safe and send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can run proper tests, verify the composition, and certify the coin. That certification is what will help you sell it for top dollar, if it's truly rare. Now it's important to understand that most 1966 quarters are not worth a fortune. Even those in mint state condition might only fetch between $10 and $50 depending on their grade. But in the world of coin collecting, the rare exceptions are what make the hobby exciting. A small mistake at the mint, an unexpected metal planchet, and suddenly a common quarter becomes a $1 million masterpiece. The 1966 silver quarter is a once-in-a-lifetime find. But it also serves as a reminder that valuable treasures can be hiding in plain sight. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars to get into coin collecting. You can start right now by checking your change, looking through coin rolls, or searching through that old box of coins your grandparents gave you to SO. The next time you find a 1966 quarter, don't just spend it without looking. Examine it closely. Check the edge. Weigh it. Listen to it. Because you never know, it might be the next coin that makes headlines. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories about rare coins, mint errors, and the hidden value of everyday currency. Share this video with your friends and family, especially those who hang on to old coins. They might be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. Until next time, keep your eyes open, check your change, and happy collecting. That if you'd like a version of this formatted for subtitles or a voiceover-ready script, let me know, and I'll help you get it ready for production. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a closer look at a coin you've probably seen dozens of times, maybe even hundreds. It's one of the most common coins in circulation, and yet one version of this coin has made headlines for selling at auction for a massive $1.3 million. We're talking about the 1997 D Washington quarter. That's right. A simple 25-cent coin from 1997 that, in one extraordinary case, turned out to be worth over $1 million. If that sounds impossible, keep watching, because we're going to break down everything you need to know about the 1997 D quarter, its history, the potential errors and variations that make it valuable, and what to look for if you want to find one of these hidden treasures yourself. Let's get started. The Washington quarter has been part of American coinage since 1932. It was originally issued to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin features a left-facing profile of Washington on the obverse, or front, with the word liberty above and the motto "In God We Trust" to the left. The reverse side shows a majestic eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches underneath. This design remained relatively unchanged for decades. By 1997, the Washington quarter was nearing the end of its long run with the eagle reverse. The next year, in 1998, the U.S. Mint would begin preparing for the release of the 50 state quarters program. That means the 1997 quarter is one of the last to carry the classic eagle design. Now let's focus on the 1997 D specifically. The D stands for Denver, where this coin was minted. In 1997, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Washington quarters. The official mintage number is over 595 million. That's a lot of coins. With numbers that high, it's easy to assume that there's nothing special about this coin. Most people would overlook it or spend it without a second thought. But coin collectors know that even among the most common coins, there can be rare gems. And sometimes, due to mint errors or unexpected planchet mistakes, a coin that should be worth 25 cents ends up being worth a fortune. And that's exactly what happened with the rare 1997 D quarter that reportedly sold for $1.3 million. This particular coin wasn't just any ordinary quarter. It was struck on the wrong planchet, a planchet that wasn't meant for a quarter at all. Based on expert analysis, this coin was accidentally struck on a silver planchet or possibly a foreign planchet with a different metal composition. Either way, this mistake created a coin that stands out in multiple ways. Its color, its weight, its metallic sound, and even the feel of it in your hand. When this rare coin was discovered, it caught the attention of professional collectors and grading experts. It was submitted to a top-tier grading service, authenticated as a genuine mint error, and graded at an exceptionally high level, which only added to its value. When it was finally sold at auction, it brought in a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. So how can you tell if you have one of these rare 1997 D quarters? Here are a few key things to look for. First, check the edge of the coin. Modern quarters are made from a copper-nickel clad composition. This means they have a visible copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. If you look at the edge of a regular quarter, you'll see a copper-colored stripe. That's normal. But if the edge of your 1997 D quarter appears to be a solid silver color with no copper showing, that could be your first clue that it's something unusual. Next, weigh the coin. A standard 1997 D quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. A quarter struck on a silver planchet or a foreign planchet will often weigh differently. For example, a silver quarter weighs about 6.25 grams. You'll need a digital scale that measures in grams to check this accurately. If your coin's weight is off, that's a big red flag that it might be something special. Also, listen to the sound. Silver coins have a very distinctive ring when dropped on a hard surface like glass or ceramic. Clad coins have a much duller sound. This isn't a scientific test, but experienced collectors can often tell the difference with just a simple ring test. If your coin looks unusual, feels heavier, and sounds different, don't try to clean it or modify it in any way. That could damage the coin and destroy its value. Instead, send it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They can confirm whether your coin is a rare error and issue an official certification, which is essential if you want to sell it at auction or to a serious collector. Even if you don't have the million-dollar version, the 1997 D quarter still has some collectible value in high grades. Coins that are uncirculated and in near-perfect condition, especially those graded MS67 or higher, can sell for well over $100. Not bad for a coin you might find in your pocket. You should also keep an eye out for other types of mint errors. Some 1997 D quarters have been found with doubling on the lettering or date, known as double die errors. Others may be struck off center or show signs of die breaks or planchet flaws. These types of errors can also bring in serious money depending on their rarity and condition. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Most coins will never be worth more than their face value, but every now and then, a rare error or mint mistake changes everything. The 1997 D quarter that sold for $1.3 million is a perfect example of how something small, something overlooked, can turn out to be incredibly valuable. And the best part is, you don't need to be a millionaire to get started. All you need is a little curiosity and a good eye. You can begin your coin collecting journey right now with the coins you already have. Check your change, dig through old jars, search through coin rolls from the bank. You never know what you might find at SO the next time you come across a 1997 D Washington quarter. Don't ignore it. Take a close look. It might just be the coin that changes your life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories about rare coins, hidden treasures, and valuable finds. Share this video with your friends and family, especially anyone who collects coins or holds onto old change. They might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Until next time, keep collecting, stay curious, and always check your change. Your next big discovery might be closer than you think. Let me know if you'd like this script converted into a downloadable format, optimized for subtitles, or tailored for a short-form video as well. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today, we're diving into a fascinating story from the world of coin collecting, one that has stunned collectors and casual hobbyists alike. It's about a small, ordinary-looking coin that could be sitting in your pocket change right now. We're talking about the 1995 D Washington quarter. At face value, this coin is just 25 cents. Nothing unusual, right? But here's the twist. One of these coins reportedly sold for an unbelievable $1.4 million. That's right. A quarter that someone once used to buy a soda could now be worth more than a luxury home, more than some sports cars, and more than most people make in a decade. Oh, how did this happen? Why is a 1995 D quarter worth so much money? What should you look for? And could you be holding a piece of hidden treasure without even knowing it? Let's take a deep dive into the history, the mystery, and the money behind the 1995 D Washington quarter. To start, let's look at the basics. The Washington quarter has been a part of U.S. currency since 1932. It was originally created to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design features a left-facing portrait of Washington on the front, or obverse, and an eagle on the reverse. That basic design stayed the same for decades, becoming one of the most recognized coins in America. Now let's fast forward to 1995. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 1 billion Washington quarters. To be exact, more than 1.1 billion 1995 D quarters were struck and released into circulation. With such a high mintage number, this coin is incredibly common. You could easily find one in pocket change, at the bank, or in an old jar of coins at home. The natural question is, if the coin is so common, how could one of them be worth over $1 million? The answer lies in a very rare and unusual mint error. You see, almost all of the 1995 D quarters were struck on the usual copper-nickel clad planchets. That's the standard metal composition used for quarters since the U.S. Mint stopped making them out of silver back in 1965. But in one extraordinary case, something went wrong at the mint. Somehow, a 1995 D quarter was struck on a 90% silver planchet. This was not supposed to happen. Silver had not been used in regular quarter production for 30 years by then. So how did a silver planchet end up in the presses in Denver? There are a few theories. Some say it could have been a leftover silver blank intended for a commemorative coin or a special mint set. Others believe it might have been an experimental strike or an accidental mixing of planchets. Whatever the reason, the result was a one-of-a-kind coin, a 1995 D quarter with the appearance, weight, and sound of a silver coin. This single coin was eventually discovered, authenticated, and confirmed to be a genuine mint error. When it was put up for auction, collectors went wild. The final sale price reached a stunning $1.4 million. That's a life-changing amount of money for a single quarter. Now let's talk about what to look for if you think you might have something similar. First, check the date and mint mark. You want a 1995 D quarter. The D mint mark means it was produced at the Denver Mint. You'll find that mint mark just to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the front of the coin. But remember, just having a 1995 D doesn't make it valuable. The key factor here is the metal. Regular quarters from that year have a visible copper core, especially when viewed from the edge. If you hold the coin and look at the side, you'll see a copper stripe sandwiched between two layers of nickel. That's perfectly normal, but the $1 million coin is different. It has no copper edge. It looks silver all the way through. That's your first clue. Next, check the weight. Regular quarters weigh about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter weighs more, around 6.25 grams. It might not seem like a big difference, but with a precise scale, it's noticeable. If your 1995 D quarter weighs closer to 6.25 grams and doesn't have a copper edge, you may want to investigate further. There's also the sound test. Silver coins have a distinctive high-pitched ring when dropped on a hard surface, while regular clad coins have a duller sound. This isn't foolproof, but it's one more test you can do at home that if you suspect you've found something special, don't try to clean the coin. Don't try to modify it in any way. That can damage the surface and hurt the value. Instead, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They have the tools and expertise to examine the metal composition, confirm authenticity, and assign it a grade based on condition. Even if it turns out not to be the $1 million coin, it could still be worth something. Rare mint errors, doubled dies, off-center strikes, and other anomalies can raise the value of a coin dramatically. Now, let's be clear. There's only one confirmed example of the 1995 D quarter struck on a silver planchet. That's the coin that sold for $1.4 million. So the odds of finding another one are extremely low. But in the world of coin collecting, anything is possible. Mistakes happen at the mint, and strange combinations do slip through the cracks. That's part of what makes collecting coins so exciting. You never know what you'll find next. Even outside of the silver era, 1995 quarters can have other valuable variations. For example, some have been found with doubling on the lettering, known as a doubled die. Others may have off-center strikes or be missing key elements of the design. These kinds of errors can still bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. Here's the takeaway. The 1995 D Washington quarter is one of the most common coins out there, but in one extraordinary case, it became one of the most valuable. A simple mistake at the mint created a coin that sold for $1.4 million. And while that might seem like a once-in-a-lifetime event, it proves that even the smallest coin can hold incredible value. So the next time you're sorting through your change, take a closer look. That plain old quarter might just be worth more than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who loves coins or just wants to hear an amazing story about hidden treasure. We'll see you in the next video. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows? Maybe the next rare coin is already in your pocket. Let me know if you want this adapted for a voiceover with pacing or turned into a downloadable script for your YouTube workflow.